Princess Grace Kelly from Hollywood star to Princess of Monaco. Chapter 1: The girl who never dreamed of becoming a princess. On November 12, 1929, a baby girl was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Her name was Grace Patricia Kelly. Grace was born into a wealthy and respected family. Her father, John B. Kelly Sr., was a successful businessman and an Olympic rowing champion. Her mother, Margaret, was a former athlete and later became involved in education. Grace grew up surrounded by discipline, education, and strong family values. As a young girl, Grace was quiet and somewhat shy. She enjoyed reading, acting, and performing in school plays. But there was something unusual about Grace. She never imagined that one day she would become a princess. Her dream was acting. And she was determined to follow it. Chapter 2: The beginning of an acting career. After finishing school, Grace moved to New York City to pursue acting. The entertainment industry was extremely competitive. Grace began by working as a model and appearing in television commercials. She was beautiful, elegant, and had a distinctive screen presence. But beauty alone was not enough. She worked hard to improve her acting skills and gradually began receiving opportunities in television and theater. Eventually, Hollywood noticed her. In the early 1950s, Grace began appearing in major films. Her career was about to change forever. Chapter 3: Hollywood's new star. Grace Kelly quickly became one of Hollywood's most admired actresses. She had a calm and sophisticated presence that made her stand out. One of the most important directors in her career was Alfred Hitchcock. Hitchcock recognized Grace's talent and cast her in several major films. Her performances helped establish her as one of Hollywood's leading actresses. She became known for her elegance, intelligence, and controlled acting style. Audiences loved her. Photographers followed her. Magazines featured her. And Hollywood began treating Grace Kelly as one of its brightest stars. But something unexpected was waiting for her in Europe. Chapter 4: The actress meets a prince. In 1955, Grace traveled to France for the Cannes Film Festival. During the trip, she was invited to meet Prince Rainier III of Monaco. Rainier was the ruler of Monaco, a small principality on the Mediterranean coast. Their first meeting attracted attention, but neither of them could have known how important it would eventually become. They continued communicating after Grace returned to America. Their relationship gradually became more serious. Soon, newspapers around the world began reporting on the romance. A Hollywood actress and a European prince. It sounded like something from a movie. But this time, the story was real. Chapter 5: The proposal. Prince Rainier eventually proposed to Grace. She accepted. The announcement shocked Hollywood. Grace was already a successful actress, and her career was moving forward. She had fame, money, and countless opportunities ahead of her. Yet she decided to leave Hollywood and begin an entirely new life. She would marry Prince Rainier and become the Princess of Monaco. For Grace, this meant giving up something she had spent years building. But it also meant entering a new chapter. Chapter 6: The Royal Wedding. On April 19, 1956, Grace Kelly married Prince Rainier in a civil ceremony. The following day, April 20, they held a grand religious wedding ceremony. The wedding attracted international attention. Grace's wedding dress became one of the most famous wedding dresses in history. The former Hollywood actress had officially become Princess Grace of Monaco. Millions of people followed the event. It seemed like a perfect fairy tale. But becoming a princess was not simply about wearing beautiful clothes and living in a palace. Grace now had responsibilities. She had to represent Monaco. She had to attend official events. She had to meet diplomats and important visitors. And she had to learn how to live within a completely different world. Chapter 7 Saying Goodbye to Hollywood. After her marriage, Grace largely stepped away from professional acting. Her decision disappointed many movie fans. She had been at the height of her career. But Grace had chosen a different path. She became focused on her new role, her family, and her responsibilities in Monaco. The actress who once appeared on movie screens around the world was now appearing at royal ceremonies and charitable events. Her life had completely changed. She was no longer Grace Kelly, the Hollywood actress. She was Princess Grace. Chapter 8 Becoming a Mother. Grace and Rainier soon started a family. Their first child, Princess Caroline, was born in 1957. A year later, in 1958, their son Prince Albert was born. Their third child, Princess Stephanie, was born in 1965. Grace loved being a mother. Although her children were members of a royal family, she wanted them to experience warmth and family life. She tried to protect them from excessive public attention. At home, she was not simply a princess. She was a mother. And motherhood became one of the most important parts of her life. Chapter 9 A Princess with a Purpose. Grace also became involved in charitable and cultural work. She supported organizations connected with children, the arts, culture, and humanitarian causes. She used her position to bring attention to important projects. Eventually, the Princess Grace Foundation was established to support emerging artists. Grace's role was changing once again. She had started as a young girl with an interest in acting. Then she became a Hollywood star. Then she became a princess. And now she was becoming an important cultural figure. Chapter 10 Behind the Fairytale. From the outside, Grace's life looked perfect. She had been a Hollywood star. She had married a prince. She lived in Monaco. She had 3 children. She attended glamorous events. But real life is never as perfect as photographs suggest. Royal life came with responsibilities and expectations. Grace had to adjust to a completely different culture and lifestyle. She also had to accept that her private life would continue to attract public attention. Leaving Hollywood also meant leaving behind a major part of her identity. Yet over time, she created a new identity for herself. She was no longer simply a famous actress who had married a prince. She had become Princess Grace in her own right. Chapter 11 The Princess Loved by Monaco. Grace gradually became an important symbol of Monaco. Her elegance helped attract international attention to the small principality. She participated in public events and supported charitable organizations. People admired her calm personality and graceful appearance. But those who knew her often remembered more than her beauty. They remembered her warmth. She had successfully transformed herself from an American actress into a European princess. And she did it while building a family and taking on responsibilities she had never expected when she was young. Chapter 12 A Tragic Day. In September 1982, Grace was traveling with her daughter, Princess Stephanie. The journey took a tragic turn when their car crashed on a mountain road in Monaco. Grace suffered severe injuries. She was taken to the hospital, where doctors attempted to save her. But her condition was critical. On September 14, 1982, Princess Grace died at the age of 52. The news shocked Monaco and the entire world. A woman who had once been one of Hollywood's brightest stars was suddenly gone. Prince Rainier had lost his wife. Her children had lost their mother. And millions of people mourned a woman they had admired for decades. Chapter 13 A World Says Goodbye. Grace's funeral was attended by members of royal families, public figures, friends, and representatives from around the world. Her death marked the end of an extraordinary life. She had been born in America. She had conquered Hollywood. She had married a European prince. She had become a mother. She had devoted herself to Monaco. And she had become an international symbol of elegance. But her story did not end with her death. Her memory continued through her family, her charitable work, her films, and the people of Monaco. Chapter 14 Why Princess Grace is still remembered. More than 4 decades after her death, Grace Kelly remains one of the most famous women of the 20th century. Her films continue to be watched. Her fashion continues to influence designers. Her wedding remains famous. And her story continues to fascinate people around the world. But perhaps the most interesting part of Grace Kelly's story is not that she became a princess. It is that she successfully lived several completely different lives. She was a daughter, an actress, a Hollywood star, a wife, a mother, a princess, and a humanitarian. Each chapter of her life was different. Yet all of them became part of the woman remembered as Princess Grace. Final chapter The real-life fairytale. Grace Kelly's story sounds like a fairy tale. A young woman from America becomes a Hollywood star. She meets a prince. They fall in love. She leaves Hollywood. She moves to Monaco. She becomes a princess. But unlike a fairy tale, her life had difficult moments, responsibilities, and ultimately a tragic ending. Still, her legacy survived. Grace Kelly proved that fame does not have to be the final destination. She found a new purpose beyond Hollywood and dedicated much of her later life to her family, Monaco, culture, and charity. She may have left the world at only 52, but her name remains unforgettable. Grace Kelly was more than a Hollywood actress. She was more than